fans of the ECHL Insider. I'm your host, Garrett Hunter, and boy, was it an exciting first week of ECHL hockey. Glad to have hockey back, and boy, is it in full swing. A lot of great matchups already completed in week one. So let's get you to some highlights from week one before we jump into a loaded week two schedule. The Toledo Walleye started off their season with the Bloomington Bison. Bloomington's first two games in their franchise came at home against the Walleye, and it was started off with some disappointment. A 2-0 shutout for the Walleye on opening night in Bloomington, and then Sunday afternoon a 4-2 win for the Walleye. So Bloomington, obviously disappointment there early, disappointing for your first game to be a shutout, but a long season to go, and they'll look to pick up their first ever win when they play the Iowa Heartlanders next week. Also, the Indy Fuel had a rough trip to the state of Georgia. In 3 games, they only scored 1 goal, and that was against the Savannah Ghost Pirates. But they played 2 games against the Atlanta Gladiators, and those were both disappointments, a 1-0 and 3-0 shutout win for the Glads over the Indy Fuel. And also the Tulsa Oilers got their season going against the Rapid City Rush. Rapid City was in for a beating this weekend, a 7-1 and 4-1 victory for the Oilers this weekend over the Rush. Well, before we start with the top 5 games of the week, big news to get to, and it has to do with ECHL expansion. The 30th ECHL franchise was announced this week. The 30th franchise will be in Greensboro, North Carolina. No name or logo announced yet, but it will be in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they will start play next season in the 2025-2026 ECHL season. So this franchise, just geographically, will most likely be in the South Division, but very exciting now to have a 30th franchise announced. With that, let's get you to the top 5 games of the week. We start off with a dandy in the Mountain Division. The Kansas City Mavericks going to Allen, Texas to take on the Americans Friday and Saturday. These will be the first 2 games of the season for the Americans. Kansas City already had success. They're off to a 2-0 start with 2 wins against the Wichita Thunder. So 2 playoff teams from last year. Should be very exciting to see how this goes. Kansas City obviously knows the Rink of Red is a hard place to play, but they were one of the best road teams in the league last year, so they should be prepared for it. At number 4 is a big rivalry game between the South Carolina Stingrays and Greenville Swamp Rabbits on Friday and Saturday. These 2 teams got their season off to a start last week against the Solar Bears. Both games in overtime, Greenville losing in overtime to Orlando, but South Carolina winning in overtime to Orlando. So 2 very similar outcomes. I think South Carolina and Greenville, 2 of the best teams in the South Division, so it should be interesting early to see this rivalry unfold into back-to-back games. At number 3, the Atlanta Gladiators will come to Estero Friday and Saturday against the Florida Everblades, who will raise the banner on their 3rd straight Kelly Cup on Friday night. If you live down in South Florida, gotta be at this game to see the banner get raised up there in Estero for the 3-peat for the Florida Everblades. And Atlanta, yes, they're off to a 2-0 start, but they will have their hands full, of course, against this Everblades team. You know that crowd will be packed out both nights to see the 3-peat banner be raised. And for Florida, all that momentum coming off of last year, all that excitement, see if they can get focused, though, on this season and trying to get a 4th straight Kelly Cup, something I think they'll be very focused on doing, and it'll be hard to stop them. But the Atlanta Gladiators will try to do it this weekend. At number 2, we have a dandy, a rematch of the Western Conference from 2 seasons ago. The Toledo Walleye and Idaho Steelheads will meet in Boise on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. 2 of the best teams historically in the Western Conference and in this league. So when you get to see these 2 teams meet, you know it's going to be great. Both teams off to a 2-0 start. Really excited to see this 3-game series early in the year. You know, you normally see this as like a playoff series if they meet in the conference finals, maybe later down the road in like a March series, but right out of the gate, very early in the year to see these teams meet 3 games in a row should be great. I think both teams, did not disappoint in opening weekend, winning both their games, but this should be a challenge for both of these teams, obviously. We talk about how good these franchises have been historically. To see them go at it for 3 games early in the season will be great. And our top game of the week, the Jacksonville Icemen and the Tahoe Night Monsters will go at it Thursday and Friday. Tahoe's first game in franchise history will be on Thursday from the Tahoe Blue Event Center. And just so excited, right, to see this team get underway. We saw Bloomington get underway this weekend. Tahoe will do it on Thursday. So excited to see this. And an interesting storyline, Tim Tebow, the owner of the Night Monsters, also is a minority owner in the Jacksonville Icemen. So kind of ironic there that they get it started against Jacksonville. Jacksonville lost in overtime to Florida, and now they make the trip to the West Coast to play Tahoe. So very exciting matchup, I think. Tahoe, first season, want to see what that fan turnout looks like on opening week. We know it'll be big time. And for Jacksonville, huge road trip for them. See how they are able to acclimate to a brand new team they don't have a whole lot of film on. Actually, no film on it because Tahoe didn't play any preseason games. So very interesting matchup. Looking forward to that. We'll check out our fight of the week now. Yes, fight of the week is back. We'll have one fight each episode at the end. So check out this week. Darian Skio and Spencer Kennedy really throwing hands this week between Norfolk and Adirondack. Less than 3 minutes into Saturday's contest. Spencer Kennedy, we know he can throw them. He did that several times last year in a Gladiators uniform. So check that out. Hope you enjoy. Make sure to subscribe below, like this video, and we will see you next week for more Week 3 content.
Now here we go. It's Darian Skio and Kennedy for the Admirals dropping the mitts. Spencer Kennedy and Darian Skio. Skio feeding right. He continues to swing away. Now catches his breath, getting some short lefts in. Skio a right into Kennedy. Another right into Kennedy. Kennedy's trying to get his elbow pad off. Skio just keeps swinging away. Kennedy misses and they go down.